Day 35, part 35. Starting to make a little bit of progress, getting closer to the South Dakota legislative session, which will be happening in January of 2020. So I'm starting to put a little bit more pressure on our local legislators and letting them know that, I'm not going away. And, right now, I'm going to be, you know, knocking on their door every day until we get somewhere. And I'm finally starting to see some responses back. And actually today had a great move forward into creating a bill that helps accomplish part of what I want to get accomplished, and that is by allowing some changes to be made. But I had some conversations today with my mother and my wife about some of the pressures of making sure that if we change this law and when we change this law, that we set a precedence that allows this law to, it's not going to impact just me. So I cannot look at how we change this law based on my situation. So it's going to be very, very important that when we look at establishing paternity and how DNA errors and DNA fraud and genetics and what happened 20 years ago, what happened 40 years ago, what happened 60 years ago, why should it matter? If something happened 18 years and 1 day ago, or if something happened 65 years ago, if the same situation happened, the same consequences, the same everything should exist. Right? I guess I don't know. And this is what maybe I need help with. And I think a lot of the questions or concerns come with the conversation about money. And in my situation, it's never been about money. I've never been after back child support or anything like that. I said, my situation, my dad's dead. There's no money to get. There's nothing there. All I've ever wanted was to know who I am and to get access to medical records, medical history. That's for me. That's all I need. But that's just me. There might be somebody else who needs more than what I do. So it's important that by helping create or change a law that I do it the right way. So if you guys have any input as to how this law should be written, I'd be very interested based on what you know now about my story. And how things could impact, and think of it multiple ways. Think of it if my dad was alive and in this situation where he's not alive, and think about it not only that I'm 40, but think about it if I was 19. So we want to make sure that when we make this change, that it's a change that is good for everybody. And really, when I mean everybody, I mean the person that is impacted the most, and that was the child that was conceived and didn't have any say in the matter of being there. Too many times we take or we don't take into consideration the child's needs and the child's feelings. We always worry about the parents. Well, the parents had the opportunity to do the right thing the first time and they didn't, but the child is the one that continues to suffer. And no matter how old I get, I'm still a child. So definitely help me out on this if you would. Comment, share. I'd love to get as many opinions as possible on how this law should be written, and I will post how I have my draft written. So if you guys want to read that and see any changes that you'd make. But again, I love the support. Also wanted to shout out and thank a lot of the local support that I get. My mom was telling me how she's getting people reaching out to her that she grew up with and from Lennox, from the town that we grew up in, saying wonderful things about us and all the local support we're getting. So, hey, appreciate it. Thank you guys. Continue to share if you care. Thanks.